Amit, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Defense is a multi-year story. It's not 1 year, 2 years. We're looking at, 5, 15, maybe 20 years from now. It's been a good run for Paras Defense, for the sector. I think what you're looking at about 25, 30% sort of growth that you've witnessed. Margins are also looking healthy. You're at the forefront of this. Look ahead and tell me, over the next couple of years, do you think you could sustain growing at 30%, or it seems like that may be short-lived and there could be some downward pressure on those numbers?
So, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. Good morning. The defense sector today is going through a big paradigm shift when it comes to focus on Make in India. And if you are a manufacturing company in India, based out of India, then I would say 20 to 30% growth, which we always anticipate, is a very, very conservative number, I would say. And I'm not just talking for Paras Defense, I'm talking about any and every defense manufacturer who's based out of India. So Make in India is the way to go. This has completely made the whole market look inwards rather than we were looking very outward. We were importing all the technologies. We were having all the kind of, systems, and all the firepower which we had was completely imported. They were all being inducted without minimal indigenous content, or there was no obligation for an indigenous content. Now today, leave about indigenous content obligations, but the systems are expected to be manufactured, designed, developed, and manufactured in India. So you can imagine all that was being done outside India will be done in India. There is an impetus on the R&D organizations which are under Ministry of Defense to share the R&D and offload that R&D work also to the industry. So the amount of business that there are very few companies who can actually do justice to the requirements of the customer. Now, these companies are the companies who have been having legacy of projects to be done in defense as well as in space. And these companies will always get the first or the biggest opportunities in the sector. So yes, going 2 years, I would say I would extend that to 3 to 4 years, that we do not see any reason why we shouldn't grow at that percentage.
Well, you are in the thick of things, Amit. I just want to sort of move away from a multi-year story to what's currently happening now. And pardon me, apologies if, it's not a play for you. But with so much of geopolitical concerns, every other day we open the newspaper and somebody's bombing somebody, somebody's responding to somebody else. What does that mean for business for Paras Defense? Your export book is what, 16% from what I understand. Has it meant that more conversations are happening with friendly countries? Has it meant that conversations have now gotten converted into deal closures? Has there been any impact of what we're seeing in the rest of the world on the geopolitical side for your business?
So I have to be very frank that our export percentage has been limited. Our export of defense technologies has always been a plan B. The reason being, domestic consumption is so huge that, and also more profitable than exports. So Paras Defense has always given importance to first the domestic market, which is extremely potential. The geopolitical situation across the globe may not have fueled an export market in the Indian defense sector. But I would like to say that this has definitely changed the strategy of how military prepared, one, we should be, and secondly, how self-reliant we should be, such that our dependencies on any one particular nation is limited. We maintain friendly relations with the most of our partners, defense partners, but the reliance has been limited. And this, when I'm saying, the psychology of Make in India and self-reliance in defense technologies has been increasing, because seeing what is happening across the world, no one, you cannot have a dependency of your technologies on a particular nation, because tomorrow the geopolitical situation of that nation can change. So you have to be self-reliant and you have to be prepared for any eventuality.
Amit, good morning. Tamanna here, and just taking off from what Samina said, I think the big question right now is, do we have a shield or can we make a shield? Is Paris Defense working towards something like this? I think with what we've seen over the last week, Iran, Israel, etc., now nations are building those protective sort of strategies in terms of warfare. Can you give us a sense if things are moving in that direction, or is there anything interesting that you can tell us, of course, with all sensitivities in place?
I have to tell you that India has been a defense technology consumer for some time and has been amongst the top 5 consumers across the world.
Right.
So Indian defense definitely employs one of the best technologies in the world. India chooses to be covert for the reason that we are a nation who believes in defense and not attack. And we are always, without divulging information, I can tell you that India is very well prepared when it comes to its own defense. And I do not want to tell you what technologies we have and what we don't.
No,
But
please don't.
Paras Defense is not just involved into technologies that we have been doing in the past, but also is currently working on cutting edge technologies which will enhance the existing defense technologies. And that includes drone and counter drones. When I say drone and counter drone, it's detection of drone and then applying countermeasures on these hostile drones to bring them down. All of these technologies, Paras Defense is working on.
You know, that's actually a great answer, Amit. And of course, we do not expect you to give details. I know it's a tough space to speak about. But if I can just get a little more from you on the January order, the latest order from the MOD. If you can explain to us how revenue accretive it is and give us a sense there.
So the January order, order book has been swelling for Paras Defense over the last 2 to 3 years. And this primarily, I would like to bring you back again to the Make in India concept. We have been Indian defense industry manufacturers for over 40 years now. Now, what has happened is because of our legacy and our involvement into very many programs, not just in production, but also in development of some certain programs, you can see today those programs being culminating into orders. These programs have also got a lot of attention because they are all homegrown development, and hence all the industries which are involved into these programs. I would like to mention BrahMos missile. Now, Paras Defense has been with BrahMos from the first missile ever manufactured. So this legacy will continue. These order books would mean only solidifying our position in the industry and will continue the growth trajectory that we project.
Just on BrahMos, and I don't know, Amit, how much you can share on this, but I know that India delivered its first BrahMos to Philippines. We made this for another country, and you're right, we have always traditionally been an importer of defense technology. We didn't make enough of our own, now we're making and we're exporting. Since you talked about Paras Defense in the context of BrahMos, I want to understand if you're going to see your export play or your export revenues increase in this sense as India moves towards a more, not just make in India, but make for the world as well.
I wouldn't play down export, but export always will become our plan B. Said that, I also want to mention that like BrahMos, we are building technologies for the world. Paras in itself is building and developing technologies for the world already. Now, Paras Anti-Drone, which is our subsidiary into RF and microwave and anti-drone systems, today is working with a French anti-drone company and developing next generation anti-drone, drone detection and drone jamming and spoofing technologies for a French company. So you can imagine if we are no more just a build to print kind of a nation anymore. We are developing technologies and the Western world is open enough to accept our technologies and then subsequently build their solutions on technologies which are developed in India. So we are no more just manufacturers for the world, but we will also translate and convert ourselves into a development nation for the various countries in the world.
Right. Amit, I don't know whether you can comment on this, but you've enjoyed very healthy margins, close to about 28, 29%. As we go into FY25, those margins seem like they could be maintained I'm asking you, I know you'll probably be reporting earnings soon, but just looking ahead, 28 to 30%, is that a healthy range for us to expect on the margin front from you?
You're right that I am in a silent period. So I can't tell you absolute anything, but Paras Defense has always focused on, yes, one is national pride, which we put it always on the top. And second is profitability, because the company, there are 600 families who thrive on us. So if we don't make profits today, along with our employees, there are people who have built trust on us and invested into our company. So we
Completely
are
right.
answerable
It's
to
just
them
not
and make
just,
sure that
yeah, it's
we're always giving them what they want.
you're right. It's not just 600 employees. It's also your investors and shareholders
Absolutely.
that you need to keep happy. Just a quick follow-up, and I know a large part of your book comes from defense engineering. I think over 50% of your revenues is from there. Optronics is better margin business. In terms of your current order book, and of course going into 25 and 26, what is the sort of split you're seeking? And I just want to get a sense of that, because I also know drones is something the company has been focusing on, but currently it contributes very little to your top line.
So optics and optronic systems and defense engineering, if I have to split these into two verticals, they always go hand in hand when it comes to order book or execution. Now, in certain quarters, if defense engineering takes over, then you see that the next quarter optics and optronic systems compensates for it. On the yearly basis, which is how you should look at Paras Defense, uh, they almost go touch and go 50-50. As a company, obviously, as a strategy, we would want optics and optronic systems to go beyond 50%, such that the profitability improves. Said that, drones market is a market which is a fast moving market. If you ask me, it is the most profitable, I wouldn't say yes, because the competition in that sector is growing by the day or by the hour. What we are really banking on is our anti-drone, that is a drone detection and drone countermeasures. That technology market, which will be really a market to look upon, and that will also be very profitable when I'm saying this. So looking at the strategy, we would always want a healthy optics and optronic systems. They should lead the revenues as well as profits. Defense engineering gives us a fast moving orders, and then anti-drone systems and technologies should give us the long-term growth as well as profitability.